Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel and July's book reviews. Ancillary Mercy by Ann Leckie. Recap. This is the third book in the series following an ancillary who was ripped away from its ship and embroiled in a war waged by the leader of the Empire on herself. Review. I read the first two books a while back and I was worried I wouldn't remember what happened, but the recap moments in the book were excellent and also spaced out nicely so we didn't have an info dump. I really enjoyed the idea of allowing AIs to realise their own independence, and I love the personalities ascribed to the various ships. The translator was hilarious. In fact, there was much more humour in this book which I enjoyed. I also liked the ending. It was a resolution, but also a beginning. Inside Moves by Walter Danley. Recap. Garth Wainwright and his wife Lacey are involved in a horrific car accident. He barely survives, she is kidnapped and held hostage by a mob boss recently released from prison. Suffering from amnesia, Wainwright has to try and piece his life together and find his wife. Review. I read this book for a review round and I see that it's book 2 in the series, so that probably answers some of my questions about character backstory that the reader is expected to know. It's quite a gritty thriller with an unexpected ending which really makes the book. The characters are a little one-dimensional and the dialogue is at times rather wooden, but I still wanted to know whether Wainwright would find his wife, so the book held my attention. The Procurement of Souls by Benjamin Hope. Recap. Magnus Drinkwater, eminent scientist, and his daughter Clementine get embroiled in a mystifying missing persons case which leads them to discover a nefarious plot by the deranged Dr. Weimar to harness souls for power. Review. I really enjoyed reading this. The bad guys made me want to boo and hiss every time they came onto the page, so incredibly unlikable. An excellent blend of Victorian beliefs and author imagination helps to create interesting and believable technology that has horrifying results. Wounds that should have been debilitating were, one of my pet hates when they're not, and there were some truly sad character deaths. A promising debut novel. I look forward to what comes next from this author. Children of the Furnace by Bryn Murray. Recap. Branded as a heater, young Will is taken to Ferrule, the re-education centre. There, the devout try to break him, but he survives, and together with Leah and Jace, discover a new truth about Sekerland and the heaters. Review. I loved it. I really enjoyed the setting. A world threatened by global warming where technology is only available to some and children are garrisoned for work duty and to become watchmen. I thought the brutality was spot on. I liked the slight misspelling for certain words. It made me feel more like I was in their world. I thought the main characters were well thought out and gave you someone to cheer for and someone to hate. I would definitely be reading the second book. Fiefdom, a Kingdom novel by Dan Abnett and Nick Vincent. Recap. The ice is melting and the them are coming. Evelyn Waugh must convince her Alpha to join forces with another pack in order for the Orcs to survive. Review. I read this quicker than quick. Part of a larger universe, but still easy enough to figure out what's happening. I love the patois and the hierarchy. I haven't decided if they're part dog, part human, or just devolved humans. You get sucked into the pack and mourn when the characters die and hope for the survival of your favourites. A well-written, easy read. My Brilliant Friend by Eleanor Ferrante. Recap. This is the story of Eleanor and Lila, the childhood years. Review. An interesting insight into lower-class urban life in 1950s Italy. A little muddled in its timeline, but it is the first in a series and there is no real resolution, so you have to read the next book to find out what happens next. Someone described it to me as Italian EastEnders, an apt description. To paraphrase a fellow book clubber, when it was good, it was really good. This is Going to Hurt. Secret Diaries of a Junior Doctor by Adam Kay. Recap. A series of journal entries from a junior doctor. Review. Allow yourself plenty of time to sit down with this book because once you start you won't want to stop. With both parents working in the medical arena, much of this book involved me nodding vehemently in agreement. The anecdotes were highly amusing, the asides on his personal life sad but true for the profession, some heartbreaking stories, and an understandable end to a punishing career. And it wasn't too in your face about the NHS and the government, more like a gentle reminder that we must be aware of ensuring we keep what we have. As a mum of 2, one planned and one emergency caesarean, the insights from his side of the operating table were fascinating. A recommended read. The Wag and the Scoundrel by Debbie McGowan. Recap. Still coping with the death of his husband, Gray is trying to figure out if he has feelings for Will. Meanwhile, an ex-colleague gets pulled into an unusual case and comes to Gray for help. Between them, they uncover devious blackmail that has resulted in murder. Review. I thought the emotional description of Gray coming to terms with his loss and the death of one of the dogs was very well done. The relationships felt natural and I enjoyed the writing style. I found the beginning a little confusing. It took me a while to sort out the storylines, but I thought they were balanced. I don't usually read cosy mysteries or romance, so the book didn't really grip me. It's 3.5 stars. The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. Recap. Recently widowed, Elsie goes to live at her late husband's ancestral home, only to discover a sinister past, creepy silent companions intent on revenge, and an evil spirit. Review. I think I had the collywobbles the entire way through this book. Wonderfully gothic and dark and creepy, making yourself question everything that happens at the same time the characters are. There are 3 separate timelines, but it doesn't get confusing and adds to the mystery because you just want to know what happens next. Absolutely fantastic ending. The Magician's Curse by Linda G. Hill. Recap. Herman Anderson, nearly 18, meets a tall, handsome magician, accepts a job offer on the train and goes home with him. Stephen Dagmar, the tall, handsome magician, is trying to break his family's curse by impregnating the help. It gets more complicated. Review. It helps that I had a long journey to read this book on, so I didn't have to put it down. I found the sexual tension absolutely gripping and fantastically well written without being coarse or terribly cliché. A highly unusual girl's name, a bizarre family curse, real magic hinted at, family secrets, a foul-mouthed spirit, a deranged pregnant lady, all mixed up with a healthy dollop of sex. Fantastic. The Magician's Blood by Linda G. Hill. Recap. Herman and Stephen continue to figure out their relationship in the light of his demonic powers and the complication of Nina. Review. Maybe it was because I read book 2 straight after reading book 1, but it felt repetitive and that hardly anything was happening until about 3/4 of the way through, and then bam, it all kicked off and that was fantastic. The prose has lost its delicious sexual tension from book 1 and moved into a darker, more violent sexual frenzy at times. I don't think I'll ever forgive Stephen for the Margaret incident. And that's a mark of great writing, getting so invested with the characters, feeling happy when they're happy and crying when they're sad. I would definitely be reading book 3. That's it for this month. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, if you've read the same books as me, let me know what you thought, and if you have any book recommendations for me, just let me know in the comments. Until next month, bye!